Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Cherwinski, the Tasting Director of the Wine Enthusiast magazine, and I'm here to give a new award for Innovator of the Year. The wine industry is constantly confronted with environmentally impactful challenges and choices, from the establishment of vineyards all the way through to delivery of the finished product. And no single person or company is more cognizant of that than this year's award winner, Jean-Charles Boisset. In the vineyards, Boisset is increasingly moving toward organic and even biodynamic farming. Its flagship Domaine de Vougeret in Burgundy is certified organic, while at Deloche, its Sonoma property, Boisset has been applying biodynamic principles since 2004. While these moves have obvious benefit to the environment, Boisset has gone far beyond tweaking its vineyard practices, recognizing that carbon emissions are a less obvious but perhaps equally important factor in the wine industry's environmental impact. To reduce carbon emissions, Boisset has been a leader in new methods of delivering wine through innovative packaging. First came the French Rabbit line of wines with its use of Tetra Pak. Next, Boisset introduced infinitely recyclable aluminum bottles for its Beaujolais, complete with cool dot technology. Finally, Boisset has worked with the plastics industry to develop more efficient PET bottles. For this commitment to the environment and the courage to develop a new and exciting generation of wine packaging, we are pleased to present the first award for Innovator of the Year to Jean-Charles Boisset.
I feel very honored and privileged to come from an incredible heritage, Burgundy. I've had the very fortunate pleasure to walk the land I live on today with my grandparents and parents, who instilled in me a great sense of responsibility for our land. This is why, over the last 15 years, we've moved all our techniques from organic to biodynamic. That intimate relationship between everything we do in the vineyard helped us to really craft a wonderful winery program as far as sustainable winemaking, from preserving water to managing electricity, resources, recycling. Each of the innovation we've done, not only in the vineyards, in the winery, and through our packaging evolution, have been to the benefit of that land. How can we impact the consumer and make sure that we would minimize drastically the carbon footprint? We believe that consumers today have embraced wines. They are drinking wine in all kinds of circumstances, whether they go on hikes, picnics, barbecues, poolsides, concerts. Why shouldn't we democratize, popularize wine to everyone? 2.7 billion cases of wine produced. 70% of it is less than $10. 70% of that is drank between 30 minutes to 3 hours. And 70% of the cost of a bottle of wine goes towards the supply chain and the packaging. Why shouldn't we, to the benefit of the consumer, invest in the quality of wine? Our purpose was very clear. Convenience, greater ecological savings, and greater value at the consumer level. From French Rabbit as a Tetra Pak, from Yellow Jersey and Louis Bernard as a PET, as well as Boisset, as traditional and historical of a winery, as aluminum bottles, as well as Gimoro et Fils in Chablis with bag-in-box, all the way to Deloche with barrel-to-barrel programs. We have minimized our carbon footprint by more than 46%. What we attempted to do is not a revolution, but an evolution. We need to be audacious and creative enough to innovate to the benefit of Mother Nature. We are the stewards of the land. We need to look at future techniques, and at the same time, we need to go back to our true intrinsic values. Organic, biodynamic farming techniques, better practices at the winery, and of course, embrace innovation to the service of consumers. Please join me in this incredible, fascinating, and exceptional mission we all have collectively to make the wine world the leader and embrace innovation to the service of our terroir.
Jean-Charles, come on up.
Ooh la la, I'm going to need this. Well, dear friends, I think it's really very exciting to be gathered tonight because I really think I should share this trophy to all of us. Every single table tonight I'm turning to, I could see friends who really have helped us into this endeavor, into this incredible evolution into the 21st century. And I want to thank every single one of you. As John, you were very kind to say, Jean-Charles, earlier, thank you as well. From retailers to distributors to restaurateurs, a lot of you have been totally dedicated into this new evolution to the 21st century and new packaging. And when we think about innovation, we should really think as well about the enthusiast. And I really think all of us are here on the stage to acknowledge our awards and then go back to our countries or our regions. But I'd like really for all of us tonight to raise our glass to some people who really build what enthusiasts mean. When you look at the word enthusiast, it means excitement, inspiration, and creativity. And tonight, some of you know, and some of you don't know, we are celebrating the 30-year anniversary as well of a company which was founded by two unbelievable people. They're charming, they're sensual, and they obviously have taken the wine world to a new dimension. And this is really Sybil and Adam Strom. So I'd like all of us, please, to join me. You know, when we think about innovation, we should think back in time. It's very easy for me, coming from Burgundy, to talk today, as Piero did, or Mr. Buttari did. We produce millions of cases in Burgundy. I come from the oldest and one of the most refined wine region in the world. We own wineries as Bouchard, as Montmessin, as the Clos de Tar, Domaine de la Vougeray, etc. We go back way in the past. But when I really think as well about our friends, 30 years ago, in a little room in New York, thinking about a new way of bringing wine to American consumers who did not know anything about it at that stage, from collector's materials to wine glasses to private cellars and so forth. I think this was an innovation in its time, and I think we should all not only toast to it, but at the same time recognize it. I'd like as well to share, and beyond sharing, to dedicate the kind of word I was given today, beyond all of us, to my grandmothers. We all had really strong imprints in our life, and I really had two feminine ones from each side of the family, luckily. They were teachers, both of them in Burgundy, and they were both actually resistance during the Second World War, so thank you as well to all the great supports we've been given. One was a science teacher and gave me really the true sense of observing nature. We have today thousands of acres we own. At the time, we didn't have any. And she really opened our eyes in terms of organic, biodynamic farming, as well as observing the interrelationship between nature. The insects with the trees, with the polymerization, with the bees. And this really, I was very, very fortunate at the time, opened my eyes into what we're doing today. The other aspect, which is a fun story I'll share with you, I was probably 8 years old, and I was cooking with my grandmother. She was as well a teacher. And in the cooking process, I took a foil paper, and I threw it away. She very kindly pulled my ears, very sweetly, and said, "Jean-Charles, could you come here to the corner?" And I was wondering, I was participating to the cooking and trying to be involved, and she said, "Jean-Charles, you need to manage resources on this planet very differently than what you think. This little paper could travel and could be used probably several times, and many, many times. Instead of throwing it away, why don't you clean it and you reuse that paper?" Those two experiences were very dramatic into my life and really helped me to think about all the things we're doing today. And it's very true that some of you have had challenge in those innovations. I acknowledge with everyone it's easier to sell Clos Vougeot or Musigny. We're on allocation on those wines, of course. But it's a lot of fun as well to try to convince, to try to convey, and to try to lead an industry which requires a drastic evolution. If you look at every product surrounding us, in every consumer shelf, we ask ourselves, why don't we gain more people? Why don't we gain more young people coming into wine? We should think about every aspect of what we do to sensitively attract them, entice them, charm them, and bring them into our categories. And the few things we so kindly awarded of, and thank you, Adam, for doing this. This is the first ever innovation award in the world. So again, you innovate in that. I really want to give us some thoughts. Einstein, as we all know, was saying, if you want me to save the world, give me 60 minutes. I'm going to take 59 seconds to think about it and 1 minute to solve it. So I really encourage us to think of that, because the way we do things today is certainly not the way we're going to do things tomorrow. And not only I thank you for joining us, all of you, into trying to make a difference, but at the same time for doing it. Because together we're much more powerful than alone. So let's think always about the famous Japanese philosopher Lao Tzu, actually Chinese with a Japanese influence. Think about the source and think where we come from. Thank you, and have a fabulous night.